What is going on, guys? I hope you're having an amazing day. I know I am. Today, I just wanted to show you guys two builds that I've been having tons of fun farming the new Onslaught mode with, and I hope that maybe you guys will also like them as well. So, without wasting too much of your time, we'll just get right into it because I know you guys are also chasing those amazing god rolls right now, and I have yet to get mine. I've gotten over 100 plus midnight cubes, and I've yet to get a Firefly one for all. But hey, that's just my RNG. I have to get back out there as soon as I'm done making this. But without further ado, let's get right into the first one. So our first build is going to be a Broodweaver warlock, and we are going to be mainly worrying about the Mind Spun invocation. Basically, what we're going to be doing is consuming our grenade and shooting stuff in the head with either Thorn, Osteostriga, or Quicksilver Storm. Amazing weapons, but I prefer Thorn. You know, whatever you want to use, it's entirely up to your discretion. But Thorn, I feel, is where it kind of shines the best. Alright. So for our second aspect, we're going to be using the Wanderer. Basically, with this and the melee, it's going to help keep your your tangles going, so you can keep suspending enemies even if you don't proc it, even after the fact, once your shackle grenade buff is done being consumed. But hopefully that's not the case. This is just, you know, as a little buffer to keep you alive and in the fight. But it should help out a little bit just in case. Also, if it's there, grab it, throw it, shoot again. It's entirely up to you. It's just all part of the gameplay loop, as you can probably see in the background footage. Now, for utility, I'm running Healing Rift instead of Empowering. It's up to you, whatever you want to do. You could always swap these off depending on what round you're on. As far as fragments go, we are running Threat of Generation, so dealing damage generates grenade energy. This is why I said it shouldn't really matter as much. You shouldn't have to rely off your tangles, because if you're consuming your grenade and getting final blows with your Thorn, you should easily be getting grenade energy back off of every kill. Also, with all that spread to the poison damage that you're doing to all the enemies in the area, absolutely amazing. Our second fragment is going to be Threat of Mind. Defeating a suspended target grants class ability energy. It's amazing. Absolutely love this. Moving on to our third fragment, we have Thread of Warding. Picking up an Orb of Power grants Woven Mail. This is going to help keep you alive in the fight, also paired with your Healing Rift, just in case you could kind of double dip, because once you do get to those higher waves, you know, the enemies do hit a little bit harder. This isn't going to be as good as a well, obviously, but it should help keep you alive in some sticky situations, because with this build, you do want to be the aggressor for the most part. Our final fragment is going to be Thread of Wisdom. Defeating a suspended target creates an Orb of Power. This is all going to feed right back into each other. So, in the gameplay loop, basically, you're going to want to consume your grenade, get a final blow, that is then going to spread poison and also suspend any nearby enemies, and upon doing so, you are going to spawn Orbs of Power, you're going to pick up the Orbs of Power, you're going to get your grenade energy back, and by doing damage to enemies, you are also going to be getting grenade energy back. So, if done right, depending on the wave and the add density, you should be able to just feed yourself your shackle grenade within a, not a good 30-second loop, and it'll just be infinitely fed, and you just keep having fun, and it's dumb fun. You're gonna love it. Just give it a try. Now, moving on to the kit, right? This whole build is going to revolve around the Thorn and the Narcotic Grips. And the reason for this is because damaging combatants with poison over time deals increased damage over time. Defeating a poison combatant spreads the condition. Now, upon spreading the condition and getting a final blow, it still counts. You can suspend massive groups of enemies. This build has been so clutch when it comes to those saboteurs, the bombers, the exploders. I don't know what else to call them. Those guys, I have shut down entire lanes of them multiple times over just because of this exotic and the way that it spreads, and it has saved the EDU so many times. Amazing exotic. It's the bread and butter of this build. Pairing it with a Thorn is just mainly going to help spread that poison damage even more, and it's so much easier because you get infinite ammo basically as long as you get the kill and pick up your bullets, and it just helps with overall survivability. As far as your secondary and your power weapon goes, I would highly recommend you run Indebted Kindness. This has been amazing for me because there's been tons of times where we get barriers, and sometimes my teammates just don't run anything that can pop it. But as of late, my main issue has been overloads, but that's a whole different topic. For your power slot, run whatever you want. Honestly, I'm running the Mercato 45 with Slice and Onslaught. I'm loving it. It's fun, but I'm also substituting it out for a Hullabaloo. When enemies are suspended, I'm not gonna lie to you, I shoot one bullet, hit that reload. I already got the chain reaction procced, but chain reaction and Vol Shot, it's just a nasty combo, and it's just something to kind of, you know, add a little bit of more spice, make it more fun to try. I don't know. At the end of the day, run whatever you want for the power slot. It's entirely your prerogative. You got someone running G-Horn, and screw it, dude. Run an Apex Predator, run a rocket, it don't matter. Run a machine gun. It's entirely a flex spot. You do what you want to do. Now, as far as stats go for this build, the only two you really want to focus on is getting that max resilience and that max discipline, because you want to get your grenade back as soon as possible, and it helps so much having that max discipline. Resilience is just to help keep you alive. Now, if you have other points that you can put into other, stats and whatnot, I'd probably go for recov and then strength, so you get that melee back, so it can help spread that poison damage even more and maybe suspend more enemies. But realistically, you don't really need those. The only two you really need is resil and discipline. Alright guys, so this is just going to be a quick mod overview. If you want, you can just pause the video, slot this stuff in. If you already know what it does, and just go give it a try. For those who don't know what this stuff is, I'll just kind of go over it real quick. So for our mods, we're running Kinetic Siphon, so rapid kinetic weapon final blows create an orb of power, and then we're rocking Heavy Ammo Scout and Heavy Ammo Finder to increase that crowd control aspect of the build. And then for our gauntlets, we're rocking Kinetic Loader, basically just helps speed up your kinetic weapons whenever you have to reload if you're not able to get that thorn like ammo back. It happens. It's rare, but it happens. The next mod that you want is Grenade Kickstart, one of my favorite mods for this build, and it pairs very well. So, remember how it says that we get Woven Mail back in this build? Well, guess what? When your grenade energy is fully expended, your armor charge is consumed, and you gain grenade energy back for each charge that is used. With the mods that are further down here, you can get up to 4 and get your grenade back even faster. The third mod for our gauntlets is going to be Firepower. Your grenade final blows generate orbs of power. This is just going to help feed the rotation and the loop even more. For our chest piece, we're rocking Resilience mod and Avoid Resistance mod because we have Charged Up. This increases the number of stacks of armor charges you could carry by 1, so instead of 3, we have 4. This just kind of helps speed up the grenade thing. For our boots, we're rocking Recuperation. This replenishes health each time you pick up an orb of power, just kind of helps with that overall survivability. We're also rocking 2 Innervations, so this reduces grenade cooldown each time you pick up an orb of power. You see where we're going with this? Orbs of power, you're going to generate them all the time. Might as well put on perks that are going to help feed the build. Moving on to our class item, we're rocking Reaper. It's an all-time classic. You can't run, well, almost every build has it, but shortly after using your class ability, your next weapon final blow spawns an orb of power. You drop your rift, shoot something in the face, maybe melee, maybe use your rocket. Guess what? Orb of power. For our last 2 mods on our class item, we're rocking Powerful Attraction. This automatically connects nearby orbs of power when you can activate your class ability. This is amazing. It's like a little vacuum, especially with the 2 on here, it's even bigger. So, run into a group of enemies after you've already procced that poison, after that suspend, get that final blow, poison spreads, drop your well, or not your well, but your rift, and you know what? Maybe it sucks up all that energy or those orbs of power, and yeah, now you can do it all over again. Super, super fun. Okay, so this is going to be the second build. This is also one of my favorites. I use this mainly for boss fights. Sometimes I will use this outside of boss fights. It's really good for just all-around survivability and just being a very, very good support player and helping out your team. You already know what it is. Tried and true classic. Phoenix Protocol, Well of Radiance Warlock. We absolutely love this. We got that Riptide to help freeze champions and sabotagers, whatever you want to call them. I don't remember how to pronounce their names. If we're not rocking Riptide, we're rocking the Pardon Our Dust. These 2 weapons, highly, highly recommend. You can use whatever you want though if you see fit, but that's what I recommend. As far as energy weapons go, I'm always swapping between the Apocal Integration and the Heliocentric QSC. Just depends on what my teammates are running. And as far as power weapons go, if we're in the boss arena, it's anything between Gallahorn and Dragon's Breath. And if we're outside the arena, I am definitely maining my Xenophage because this thing is absolutely amazing this week when it comes to taking down more tankier enemies, just overall crowd control. As far as aspects and fragments go, we are rocking Touch of Flame. This basically just helps improve the effect of your healing grenade and it helps keep you alive longer. It is absolutely amazing, and with the fragments that we're going to be using, when you get those solar touches or solar blows, it is just, it's going to reproc, it's going to make it last longer. Absolutely freaking love this build. It's just really, really good for survivability and keeping your buddies in the fight. Our next aspect is going to be Icarus Dash. This, honestly, not really needed. You could swap this out, but I absolutely love it. It's entirely up to you and what you want to run. But I absolutely love it for just some overall extra mobility. Okay, now moving on to mods. I'm gonna be super quick about this. So, for our helmet, we're rocking 2 Font of Wisdoms. You gain bonus into your intellect whenever you have any armor charge, and armor charges will decay over time. We're rocking a harmonic siphon, so rapid solar weapon funnel blows will create an orb of power. It's gonna help get your stuff or your super back. We got fastball, increases your grenade throwing distance. This is gonna help get your teammates that are super far out, because sometimes when you're in that boss arena, people like to jump far. You know what? Sometimes you need to be able to reach them. Also, you don't have to look up as high, it helps. For our next mod, we're rocking Impact Induction, so it causes damage with a powered melee attack, reduces your grenade cooldown, so whenever you proc your, not your Incinerator Snap, I forgot it was, your Celestial Fire, I believe that's what it's called, it's basically just going to help get your grenade back so you can heal more often. Our next mod is going to be Harmonic Loader. This increases the reload speed of any solar weapon that you have equipped. Super helpful, I highly recommend. We're also rocking Harmonic Reserves. This is basically just going to increase your ammo capacity for all of your weapons. We're doing arc resistance and void resistance, because you know that's mostly what you get hit by whenever you're in those arenas. I don't know, use what you want, that's just what I prefer. For our legs, we're rocking Better Already. Your health begins to regenerate immediately after picking up an orb of power. Depending on who you got in your rotation for your fire team, you're going to be getting a lot of these, so this will help keep you alive. Next, we are also rocking Solar Weapon Surge. Basically, your solar weapons gain a small bonus to damage when you have any armor charge, and this pairs very well with Font of Wisdom. Highly recommend. Super fun. You're gonna get that Orb of Power, you're gonna get that armor charge increase, boom, do more damage. Highly recommend. For our class item, we're rocking Time Dilation, so your decaying armor charges have a longer duration, so they don't decay as fast. We're rocking Bomber, so it reduces your grenade cooldown when using your class ability. You're gonna be dropping that Rift in your Well of Radiance sometimes when you get higher up, because sometimes the damage is really high. And it hurts. Just extra buff, you know. Also, when your Well of Radiance isn't fully procced, because sometimes that will happen, you'll get that halfway 75% mark. Doesn't hurt to just drop your Rift. This is just going to help the overall kind of gameplay loop and just speed some stuff up to help you out. For our last mod, we are rocking Powerful Attraction. It automatically collects any nearby orbs of power whenever you activate your class ability. For our last mod, we are rocking Powerful Attraction. Basically, this turns your Rift into a vacuum. Any nearby orbs will get sucked into it and go right back to you. Super helpful, highly recommend. And if you got that Well of Radiance already down, someone pops a Tether, someone pops a Super, just drop this down in it. I mean, you're going to get it back before the Well of Radiance is done anyway, and it's going to suck up all the nearby orbs if they're within the radius that it does it. Super helpful. Now, as far as stats go, it's the same thing. You just mainly want to focus on resilience and discipline, but for this one, I highly recommend for your third stat, you focus into recovery rather than strength like the other one for the melee. Now, moving on to the artifact. I know what you're probably going to say. There's a couple mods here that I should have equipped, but I don't, such as Overload Rocket Launchers and Argent Ordnance. I choose not to run these. I let other people do it. I know I should probably put on, Flame Fiber and Freeze, but you know what? I don't feel like I need it. The only 2 mods in this that I really do feel like I do enjoy the most, that really benefit and cater towards this build, are right here. Unraveling Orbs. Picking up an Orb of Power, grants strand weapons unraveling rounds. Guess what? You get this on Thorn, and you get this on the machine gun. Helps out even more. And Horde Shuttle. This is the main one. If you had to pick any of the mods here to pair with this build, it's Horde Shuttle. Damaging unraveled combatants. Basically, will occasionally spawn a Threadling. It's just helpful. You know, there's sometimes where there's a tanky enemy. Maybe you're by yourself. It helps. It's not groundbreaking. It's not broken. But it is really nice to have. As far as weapon mods go, you can see right here I got Piercing Sidearms and an Unstoppable Hand Cannon. Very rarely do I ever swap to my auto rifle, but if I had to, that's how we're able to get the overloads. Other than that though, that kind of does it. These are my 2 favorite builds. I absolutely love these. This is what I've been using to help farm my god rolls. And yeah, at least on this character, I'm having tons of fun. When the new modifiers come out next week, I'll probably switch some stuff around, but for the most part, I don't see these builds changing until this game mode goes away or until these weapons go away. I'm absolutely loving it. I'm having fun. Go ahead and give it a try if you're not already using it already. And once again, if you enjoyed the video or maybe you saw something you did like, hit that like button, maybe that subscribe button if you feel I deserved it. Other than that, I hope you guys have an amazing day, and I'll catch you in the next one.